Hi, my name is Jacob Cox, and today I'd like to talk to you guys about who are we really and what are we really here to do. We all wear many masks. We're all many things. We're brothers, we're sisters, mothers, fathers, employers, co-workers. So we all do wear many masks often, and that separates us sometimes from the wholeness of actually what we really are, who we really are, being these other little things. But those are just little things that we are, but we also are way more than we could ever possibly imagine. So when people ask you who you are, you say, well, I'm Jacob Cox, and I work at this place, and I was born here. And those are, the I am words, the words that you hear in the Bible. I am that I am. We forget these are the most powerful words that you could possibly say ever. I am. When you say I am broke, I am sick, I'm ugly, all of these things are not just in the present moment. You're setting yourself up for future too when you say I'm sick. You're going to be, don't be surprised when you see that you're sick often, or when you're broke and you don't have money ever. Those things, when you say I am, it's very, very powerful. Two of the most powerful words for what you put after them shapes your whole reality. I am is the same thing. So don't say I am this. I am, it's the same thing. A lot of times people say I'm bored. And I find this to be absolutely mind-boggling that people could say I'm bored. You live in a great, big, vast world that you have seen none percent of. Even the inside of our own mind is endless. It goes on forever inwardly. Do you understand? In fact, that you're alive is amazing. So you don't get to say, I'm bored. That you exist. That the universe was not complete until you were in it. That is amazing. For someone to say, I'm bored, it baffles me. But people do it. So back to what is I am in Exodus. Moses talks to this burning bush. The burning bush tells him to go, tell Pharaoh to let his people go. And he says, well, when I get there, who do I tell told him? Sit me. Burning bush. And the bush says, I am that I am. And these words have been misused for a very long time. And, pharaohs and preachers and stuff have actually asked, people not to use it. It was against the law to use the words I am. What I'm saying is, God was saying, I am that I am. So he's saying, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that I am. I'm all the that's that there is. So God is you, it's me, it's everything, it's every person. So, when we talk to one, we are talking to all. When we touch anything, you're touching everything. Every moment is sacred. Every person is sacred. Everything is sacred. How you touch one thing, you are touching everything, because it's not separate. When you take a video camera and you start from this building, this room right here, and see all of us, and we look separate, and we pull it back, and you go farther and farther and farther and farther up, we become one country, one planet, one world, one solar system, one galaxy. There's no separateness to that idea. We're all a part of this universe that's being still folding out, still evolving, and still going. And we are part of that evolution. We're a part of that process. We're not, it's already done. We didn't just grow opposable thumbs and now evolution's over. No, we have another 90% of our brains to eliminate, our hearts, understandings that teachers have told us for the ages. And we're just now coming to terms scientifically with the significance of what those people are saying. So, an Egyptian proverb was, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it, or herself. And Jesus and other people talk about this, the kingdom of heaven is within you. What's inside of us? John Burroughs said, the kingdom of heaven is not a place, but a state of mind. It's not something that we have to believe in something and go to. It's happening right here, right now. And people say, oh, heaven's here on earth right now? How's that possible? I can tell you this, I know for sure hell's on this earth, because I've been through hell. I've been through suffering. I've been through the fact that I didn't think I was good enough. I know that part. I've been there. And that's fine, because with that suffering comes a lot of understanding, comes a lot of learning. But I found out who I was through that suffering. And I found out what was inside of me, what lies behind us, What lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. What lies within you is the entire universe. Every understanding, everything that's possible to come to know is already inside of you. That's a pretty powerful thing. You don't need a book. You don't need a teacher. You can sit down, be quiet, long enough and be still to be connected to everything. You don't need a book. You don't need a teacher. The unlimited power is already within you. You are limitless. There are no limits. But we come into this world and we're told we're a boy, we're told we're a girl, we're told we're this economic status, we're told where we live, where to go to school, and we start to believe the lie. We start to believe that I'm just this little person from this little town, from this nowhere place with no money, and that's who we are. But that's not who you are. That's a part of who you are. That's your challenge to overcome, though. Black Elk said, "At the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and at that center is really, it's everywhere, and it's within each of us. A Great Spirit. It's not separate. It's not out. God is not some old man on a cloud looking down, getting pissed off, that everybody's not doing what they're supposed to. Or some jealous. He's not jealous. He's the only game in town. How's God going to be jealous? Every religion is a fractal of this truth, of this wholeness, and everyone is fine to study to know the whole truth. Sometimes we forget that. So I said, don't feel lonely. The entire universe is inside of you. Inside of every single one of us. It's the truth. So if you're still looking for that one person that will change your life, look in the mirror. Only you. No one's going to come pick you up, tell you where, that'd be nice. Sometimes they will probably do. But you got to do it. You're sitting there in your own pit of suffering. You got to pull yourself out. And in that is part of your journey, the hero's journey, the call to adventure. Joseph Campbell would say. Yeah. The universe is calling you up, like the Matrix. Ring, ring. And everyone is just letting the phone ring and not picking it up. But it's always calling you. Your intuition, that higher self, it's always calling you. So we think we're separate from nature. I live in my house with the windows and doors, and nature's outside. I got to get a backpack and go get my sandals on to go. I got out in nature. No, you are a part of nature. This is a picture of a leaf, picture of the blood vessels of the human heart, and the river network of the Amazon rainforest. They all look pretty similar. They all branch out. They're all fractals. They are all, like I said, the same thing. As far as you zoom out, you see the same thing over and over and over again. This is the brain cell, the universe, the birth of a cell, the death of a star, your eyeball, and a nebula. It does not matter. The all is in the small. The all is inside of you. You are a macrocosm to the entire you are a microcosm to the entire macrocosm. You are a co-creator. You are your own single universe. Part of the whole entire multiverse. Again, we are all fractals. We are microcosms of the macrocosm. The galaxy spirals, hurricanes, plants, seashells. It's in all things. Even your DNA is a double spiral helix wave pattern. It is the way nature works. It's the way the universe works. It's the way God works. It's the way He intended for us to see it, like a blueprint. Like Leonardo da Vinci would hide certain things in his artwork. He could say, this is my stuff. This is my fingerprint on my creation. God did the same thing. He left us a blueprint to see that this isn't some random array of things moving around in the universe, all of a sudden just to, bam, come together. Here's some people walking. No, it didn't happen like that. It's all created. It is created with the divine intention. So like I said earlier, all religions are based on these truths. Especially, you don't see as much in this picture, but you see that star in almost every religion. And they're based on truths. They're based on love. They're based on caring. They're based on compassion. somewhere along the way some of these things get skewed, and people do their own interpretations, and people try to follow certain people for different reasons or whatever they get out of it. But in all honesty, I think everyone I've studied has the same core beliefs, and it seems that Jesus and Buddha and Christian, to me, in every book, we're saying the same things. The kingdom of heaven is within you. God is love. To love everyone as I have loved you, and then they'll know you're my disciples. You don't have to call yourself Christian. You don't have to call yourself Buddhist. You don't have, whatever it is, because when you actually do that love, people see it. They know it. They know who you are. They know what you're doing. So we are not separate from the whole. You are one with the sun, the earth, the air. You don't have a life. You are life. You are life. You make the whole thing possible. Rumi said, you're not just a drop in the ocean, you are the mighty ocean in a single drop. That's amazing. The whole package is inside of you. The whole thing. Not just one drop, the whole ocean in a drop. So, if you're looking for God, that's the problem. The God in you is the one who's looking. You're looking for something out here. It's not out there. It's inside of you. So if you sit and you meditate and you be still and know that I am God. And if you act still and you sit still, you know that you're God too. We so often forget, we so often get caught up in religion and what everybody else is saying, and we often don't get still. We often don't sit and meditate like Bible and other books tell us. But clearly, when you see verses like this in the Bible, be still and know that I am God, it doesn't make sense to you really apply it to a picture or something like this. For me, I think this hits home because you really see what they're saying a lot of times. You read these quotes, I am that I am, be still and know that I am God, and we sound great, and when people say, I agree with that, but do you really know the entirety of the entire story? Do you really know the depth of that whole story? So there is only one corner of the universe that you are certain of improving, and that's your own. That's you. Everybody always says, I want to change the world. I want to go out here and I want to do something. I want to change things to make them better. You're your own universe. Change it. Be the change you want to see in the world. I think this is funny. Waldo goes to India and finds himself. Finally, he did it. The only person who ever needed to find Waldo is Waldo. He's the only person. Everybody can find you. Everybody can know you, but you got to know yourself. You got to know who you really are. So when your inner world comes into order, your outer world will come into order. Meaning, when you're not running around like a chicken with its head cut off with all these crazy things happening and going on, and you calm down and you put all your stuff in order, and all these things that run through our heads and make us go crazy, when you can put all that away and sit down in silence and be still and be connected, all the stuff that's seemingly outside that is happening that seems to be, people think it's just random things happening. I'm randomly late, or something randomly happened. It's not a random act. It's something inside of you that you haven't conquered yet, that's showing you what you are on the inside is also what is going on the outside. So Gandhi says, happiness is what you think. What you say and what you do are all in harmony. So oftentimes we all want to be happy, but the things that we say don't correlate with what we're thinking about inside. And when we do what we think about inside, is we want to be good to people, we want other people to love us, then we love other people. And when we think of what we think about and what we say and what we do are in harmony, then we're good. So we want to free our minds, raise our consciousness awareness and our spirituality, and free our minds by using it. Occupy your mind. So many people sit in front of the television every day, and we don't realize the subliminal messages that go on. I mean, we do realize that there's subliminal messages. Everyone knows there are subliminal messages in television, especially advertisement and commercials. But you don't realize the effect that it has on you. that 8 hours in front of a television with a bunch of loud noises and lights flickering and subliminal messages running through it for hours on end that you're not paying attention to whatsoever, it's completely, that's why they call it programs. They're programming you to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to think certain things are cool, and because we're not occupying who we really are, knowing what we really are, we lose touch with that, we lose basis with that. And we're easily swayed to thinking, I need this to be happy or to be cool or whatever, but no, you're cool without it. You're beautiful without it. So it's time to evolve from a world of competition to a world of cooperation. So often in our world today you hear about diseases and cancers and viruses. Our world is in peril because of our attitudes, because of our thoughts, because we're infectious with competition and I'm better than you, I deserve more than you, I have more than you, I have a better car than you. But nature doesn't work like that. Nature works in cooperation. Your body's trillions and trillions of cells working together, not working opposite. But when our philosophy is, I'm better than you, I'm the best, then your cells get that philosophy and they start to not work in cooperation anymore. They work in competition. And when your body's at dis-ease, it's no longer at ease because you're in competition with yourself. So people were created to be loved. Things were created to be used. The reason the world is in chaos is because things are being loved and people are being used. We're using people. We're like black holes and we're sucking in people's energies to look at us, pay attention to me, and your actual attention is actually energies focused to someone else. So you got to detach. Not detachment in the way that it's not what you shouldn't own anything. The attachment in the way that nothing should own you. You know, we get a new car and then, oh my God, I got a scratch on it, or I got to get it dirty, or, you know, I got these, oh my gosh, I got grape juice on my t-shirt and it's bad. And no, things shouldn't, I'm not saying go ahead and throw all your stuff away today. I'm saying don't let things own you. And that's so often what people are doing today, they're letting things own us. So a man who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers 1,000 men in battle. The greatest fight that we ever fought is between us ourselves. It's to lay down the weapons, lay down the anger, lay down the hate, and become our true nature of who we really are. So that's what the Knight's Tale is. The Knight's Tale is about conquering the dragon, conquering your own demons, being the hero of your own life, and stop listening to what everybody else tells you what to do, and stop listening to everyone else in the competition world that we live in. You have to conquer your own demons. You have to conquer your own darkness. It's a part of our journey. It's part of the hero's journey. You have to be this guy, the hero. And you have to conquer your own demons. Expose yourself to your deepest fear, and then you're free. The Red Riding Hood. Jim Morrison quote, I think it's absolutely correct. Because when you expose yourself to fear, you take that fear that's inside of you and pull it out and you look at it, and it no longer dwells inside of you. So the greatest souls are awakened out of suffering. The most impressive personalities endure many scars. And I would say it like this. Mountains are formed by erosion, water, wind, all of these things. And if they didn't have these things, they wouldn't be as beautiful in a landscape when you saw them from a distance. That's pretty significant. They wouldn't be as beautiful without all the erosion, without all the scars. You're not as beautiful without your trials and your tribulations either. Even a tiny seed knows that in order to grow, it needs to be dropped in the dirt, covered in darkness, and struggle to reach the light. It's a hard journey. But guess what? When you get there, you know it was worth it. The way. Whether you turn to the right or turn to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk into it. It's that intuition. Everybody's got intuitive intuition. But so often than not, we don't listen to it. We let all these voices in our head run amok and go crazy. Keeps people up at night and not being able to sleep. That's why you have to be still. That's why you have to be silent. And you have to pay attention. You have to listen to that voice that tells you within. Everybody's got that conscience. Everybody has it. So you are your own guru. No one else outside of you. There are teachers along the way, yes, but if whatever anyone says doesn't resonate with your own divine nature that you already know, there's nothing anybody's going to tell you that you don't already know, then it's not, then you don't listen, you know? There are always going to be teachers along the way, but of course you're your own guru. You have to leave the city of your comfort and go into the wilderness of your intuition, what I was saying earlier. So often we get sidetracked, but our intuition is always there, and we don't listen. And for a long time, especially for myself, you know, you don't use it, and it is when you start to go back into yourself and you start to go back to be silent. It's almost like it is a wilderness of its own. It's something you have to understand and almost kind of experiment with a little bit, you know, until you say, okay, I know what that means, I know what that was saying, and I know what I need to do. Eckhart Tolle said, I cannot tell you any spiritual truth that deep within you don't already know. All I can do is remind you of what you have forgotten. Each of us have forgotten this. As children, we knew this stuff. Even Jesus says, be like that of a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven. When you ask a little kid, what are their beliefs? They don't run off, well, I believe this, and I'm with this religion. They don't have any religion. They don't have any beliefs because they're wide open. They want, tell me what you know. Tell me, give me. They need it. They need information. Why? And, you know, all of a sudden now our bowl is full. We know, oh, I know this and I know that. Oh, you know? Do you know? Well, tell me what you know, and I'll use what you got, and I'll keep that in mind, and I'll, go on to the next thing. But anybody whose bowl is already full, you're not going to be able to take in. Blessed is he that is poor in spirit, that you realize that you're poor, and spirit is something you can take into yourself. Got life. Life is a school where we're learning to remember what your soul already knows. That's what I said again. As a child, we knew this stuff, but we go through this process of, our parents and teachers and principals and people telling us what we are and what life's about. It's about money. It's about accumulating wealth and being successful. No, not entirely. It's not. So you get there by realizing you're already there. So all these people you see there and you look at them, oh my God, that person's lost. They don't even know they're on a spiritual path. No, they don't know they're on a spiritual path, but they're on a spiritual path, whether they know it or they don't know it. So don't judge people and say, oh, that person, he can never wake up. He doesn't even know he's on a spiritual journey. Well, a lot of us don't know we're on spiritual journeys until we get to be those black holes and we're sucking in energy and we're sucking in people's attention, and all of a sudden we suck something in that has light in it, something that's good. Because we're so open, black holes are so open, they'll suck anything in. So eventually you suck in something that actually changes your way of being, that changes your life. So our thoughts are energy, they are real, and they do have power. What we focus on, what we hold in our mind, will manifest. And all that we are is the result of what we have thought of. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. What you pretend to be, you become. It's very important. What we pretend to be, we become. So heaven is on earth. It is a choice that we make. It's not a place that you find. I love this. This is, remember Luke in the Star Wars, and he's trying to raise a starship, or the ship out of the mud. And he tells you, he goes, I can't believe it. And he's like, that's why you fail. That's why you fail. You have to believe it. Your thoughts are powerful. If you don't think you can't do it, you never will. Even the placebo effect shows us. It's scientific proof that we have the ability to heal ourselves. Our thoughts are powerful enough to bring things into existence when we begin to absorb this. When will we begin to absorb this? Hopefully after this. Placebo effect says that you can take a sugar pill for some disease or some sickness, and then later on that you're going to get better from that. That's pretty incredible. It's showing us, even when Jesus healed people, and people come and said, hey, thank you for healing me. He said, it wasn't me that healed you, it was your faith that healed you. But if you don't stop doing something, stop sinning, something worse happens to you. So what are sins? Pride, lust, anger. Those things literally, our inner world, our anger transmutes into our outer world, which develops sickness and disease in it by our thoughts. So our thoughts can get us out of the mess too. So don't think you are, know you are. I know no matter what holistic or surgical procedure you're going to go do to heal yourself, you're going to know that this is going to work. I'm not thinking that it's going to work. I'm going to know this is going to work and I can move on. Don't think you are, know you are. So I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. People can tell you all the spiritual truths and all the truths that there is. And they may sound great, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to walk through the door. You're the one that has to take that next step, that leap of faith. But I'll tell you this, the day I broke up with normal was the first day of my magical life. I was a scientist, I'm a psychology major. I've always been someone to show it to me. Let me see it. I need to see it to believe it. You got something incredible that you want to tell me about? That's fine. Tell me about it. And then let's go show it to me. So I can see, is this real or not for myself? At some point we must realize that the world and our universe and our lives are so much more extraordinary than we could possibly imagine. We have to get out of, show it to me. Believing isn't all, seeing isn't always believing. Sometimes you have to believe it to see it. That's what magic is. And you think about the Magi and the three wise men. Magi means miracle worker. The word magician comes from Magi, people who could do miraculous things. But when we start to realize from science today, these weren't miraculous things. These are things that every single person has the ability to do. But we live in a world where we're disconnected from our true nature. And we don't know this anymore. The magic is essentially the higher understanding of nature. And those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Ever. That's the thing with magic. You've got to know it's still here, all around us, or it just stays invisible for you. So you can know. I mean, really, technically, I believe that we're all magicians. Some of us are just better than others. We're all magicians already. We're already creating. Your life is, you're already creating it by the thoughts that you think in your head already right now, regardless of if it's what you want or not. The thoughts that you're thinking are creating the world that you live in. So we are all Buddhas. We're all Krishnas. We're all one in the body of Christ. We're all part of the same thing. Jesus said, John 10:34, they were going to stone him for being blasphemous. He said, it is written that ye are all gods. Everybody. He also said, believe and do greater things. Whoever believes in me will do the works that I have been doing, and they will do even greater things. Even greater things. That is incredible. So nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with God. So no matter where you go, who you go with, what you do, if the magic is inside of you, if the master is inside of you, your life's going to be extraordinary. If you're extraordinary. You don't just go to some magical place and think, oh, I'm going to have a magical experience because everybody says it's a magical place. Well, is the magic in you? It's the only way you're ever going to experience magic if it's inside of you, not if it's outside of you. You go to some place and you expect for it to be what, obviously expecting for it to be is going to help. But if you want an extraordinary life, be extraordinary. It doesn't matter where you go, what you do. As long as you're extraordinary, your experience is going to be extraordinary. Everything changes when we start to emit our own frequencies, rather than absorbing the frequencies all around us. When you start imprinting your intent on the universe, rather than receiving an imprint from the existence. So like I said, so often we get beat down with the trials and tribulations of life. Woe is me. But we don't realize that we often share that with other people. Oh my God, I got beat down today. And when we let that idea run rampant through our lives, it's time that we take our power back. We've given our power away to entities and politicians and philosophies that no longer are serving our country, they're no longer serving our world, they're no longer serving humanity. We got to take back our power and start imprinting the change that we want to see all in our world. So you are the light. It's all inside of us all the time. And the darkness that we've all been living is inside of us too. But as the light, the metaphor for going into a dark room, all it takes is a little candle and that darkness flees. But you can't do the opposite. You can't go into a room full of well-lit light, full of truth and wisdom, and take any amount of darkness in that room and do anything, have any effect whatsoever. So we all have light inside of our little temples. It's time to let that shine. But we think we're this body. We think I'm this physical person. I'm Jacob from Athens, Georgia, and I'm working this job. I'm much more than that. I'm much more than that. I'm not just a human being having a spiritual experience. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And it's very important when we realize I came here to do something. We all came here to do something. We all have something great within us that was sent inside of ourselves, deep within us, that we have to unlock to show the world who we really are and what we really came here to do. So since love grows within you, so beauty grows, for love is the beauty of the soul. I love that because it takes time. Once you realize where you want to go and what you want to be and what you want to do, you can't just get there overnight. That's part of the whole journey. The journey is the highs and lows, the mountaintops. I mean, you can't get to the mountaintop. I recently went to Mount Shasta, and I had a very big epiphany, telling me that when I didn't even get to the top, got to over 12,000 feet. But when we came back down, it was a day or so later, I had everything seemed to line up, and it just got so clear, my life purpose, my understanding, and it was showing me that it wasn't just getting to the top, because I'd gone to Pikes Peak in Colorado earlier. Me and my brother drove to the top. We, walked around, took pictures, saw a bunch of people sleeping up top, thought that was kind of weird. But what I didn't realize is most of the people who were sleeping up there all walked from the bottom of the mountain to the top. So while we were up there taking our pictures, having a good time, whatever, it was fun, we didn't have the same appreciation as the people who started from the bottom and worked their way and hiked all the way up to the top and got there. That's part of the whole journey. That's part of the whole hero's quest. For all of us, we all have to start at this bottom, at the suffering part, and work our way through the dirt, work our way through the darkness, to come to the light, to become blossom like the true nature that we really are. This is probably one of my favorite quotes ever. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with the love like that. It lights the whole sky. When we no longer let people implement or that frequency onto us, that we're not good enough, or we're sinners, or we need, all this stuff is wrong with us, and we realize that I'm going to be love. I'm going to give to you no matter what you are. Because I realize the divinity in you. I realize the divinity in every person. And the people who are having the hardest time are the people who their divinity in them is screaming out to them. So often the voice starts out as a little whisper, as a little, hey, follow this path, do this. And we don't realize it, and we don't hear it, and we go on and on throughout our lives until that voice gets louder and louder and louder until it's screaming at us. When you're in a job that you don't like, and you have a sickness that you don't like, and you have a spouse or a significant other that's completely toxic, those are huge calls to the universe saying, hey, guess what? This is what your life is. It's time for you to change it. And if you think that those people are, never going to wake up, and you're wrong. Those are the people who are probably going to wake up before anybody else, because they're the ones suffering the most, and they're the ones that are actually gaining from that suffering. So open up your heart and let that love out. Love everybody. Forgive people. Have compassion for others. And when you do that, people will know who you are. They'll know what kind of person that you are. They'll see it inside of you. They see the compassion that you have. They see the love that you have for other people. That's the kind of person that people, and it ignites people. It gets people excited. They see something on the world. They see some video of somebody making a change, and it gets, oh man, I want to do that. I can do that. But you don't have to have some huge building. You don't have to have a bunch of people helping. You don't have to have a bunch of money. You can set the world on fire just with your own love. Jesus didn't have buildings. He didn't have a bunch of people, backing him up and asking him to come here and do this. He set the world on fire with his love, with his unbridled compassion for every person, for every event, for everything that God is. And it's like I said, so often we forget that. That's something separate, but everybody is God, so treat everyone the same. Mother Teresa said, if you want to bring happiness to the whole world, go home and love your family. That's all you got to do. Go back and love the ones who first loved you. Forgive them for the mean things that they said and the awful things that they did, because they still love you. Go back and love them, and that love will actually transmit a frequency out from the inside out that will change the world. So remember, we're all just walking each other home. In the end, be kind to everyone. Be good to everyone. Everyone's struggling with this thing. Everyone's going to wake up eventually, but they're going to do it on their own time. And you can't make anybody wake up. You can just help, be a teacher along the way and try to guide them to their higher selves. But remember, we're all just walking each other home. It's a beautiful thing. Life's a beautiful thing. And thank you guys for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. And thank you.